What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them.
Things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I feel well, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. That we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. I'll tell you, it's been a very different weekend for me personally. I have pretty much had this live feed, and I say live feed loosely, because some of it you never know when it's live. Sometimes it's pre-recorded stuff. You never really know for sure. At least I have no way of knowing. I think they are live right now, and still going at it. Still strong at it. Day 11, day 12, something to that effect. So they're still going live. I'm muted here, and I'll pull up the volume. Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's been a really incredible, absolutely incredibly inspiring thing to watch. It is just unreal. It much feels like, why is my buttons not working? Hang on. You gotta do it there. I don't know why my phone's not doing it. But this is the only way that I can describe it with any accuracy whatsoever as to how I feel watching this, how I felt watching it. Hang on a second. Okay. It feels like there's an extension cord. Literally, that's the only way I can describe it. An extension cord of spirituality, if you will. And it's just like you turn on that feed and you just listen to it and you just sink back into the sounds. And it's like plugging that extension cord of spirituality directly in. I mean, it's been an entire weekend of being plugged into that, and it's been incredible. Not only are all of the individuals that are there experiencing an obvious revival, but it actually causes that in myself here, just watching and listening to what's going on there. It's incredible, and it's something that I will remember for the rest of my life, and it is something that I will actually hold pretty dear. Incredible what is going on there. From my understanding, upwards of 20 universities are taking part in this. I don't think any one of them are really highly publicizing what's going on, and they're doing so because they want it to be organic. And if this is a thing, I think they truly want it to be a thing. Now, I guess there's a supposed end date that's been projected for this event in Wilmore. I forget what they said the town was. It's not a very big town. And so obviously all of this has been one heck of an influx for the town. And I think everybody down to the local convenience stores kind of having a hard time keeping up. They've had to bring in extra security. They've had to, all kinds of things to make sure that folks here are safe. From my understanding, and I've read quite a few articles and different bits of information about this, from my understanding, although you will never know it by watching the live feeds, from my understanding, outside of that hall, there are quite a few people working security, and apparently they seem to be doing everything the right way. I mean, it's incredible. The whole thing is incredible. It's not just the kids, it's not just the revival, but it's everything around it and everything in support of it as well. And it's an amazing thing to see. The university, my hat's off to them, have handled this, especially Asbury here, incredibly well. And I applaud them for that. I hope it spreads. I hope it goes crazy. I hope that they can't. This is my hope. I hope that they can't put an end date on it because the people won't go home. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. And I hope it stays that way for a long time. We got warmer weather coming. If I could make a call, that's my call. That's my call. That's my wish. That's what I would ask for. That anybody and everybody that can do it, wherever you are, pick a spot. Pick a spot. And let's do this. Let's do this. We don't have a lot of opportunities in life to really make that mark and to really make a difference in the course of our planet. But I think we might have one here, but we need to act in numbers. Big, big, big numbers. I really think this can be something. That is up to us. That is up to us. I know I have been absolutely inspired by what these kids are doing. The same kids that on another show I'll have a totally different attitude about. Well, maybe not the same kids, okay? But the same generation, okay? And that in itself is a reminder to me that there's always messed up people. There were messed up people of my generation. You know how I know? Because I'm one of them, right? I am the misfit of my generation. I get it. Blue concurs. You're messed up, kid. I think we all sometimes get caught up in focusing, I won't say on the wrong thing, but sometimes we focus on something and we don't see what else is there. And there obviously is a core of young men and women that still have their head on their shoulders. There is spirituality in their hearts and God on their minds. And I think we would do well to take a cue from them. You know, I always ask myself, questions. I ask God the questions, and I ask myself as well, because, hey, whenever you want a dumbass answer, you ask yourself. And so, one of the things I ask is why am I on this 2-week vacation from YouTube, right? My union's gone on strike for 2 weeks, right? Something like that. I don't know. I'm still confused. But I'm going to tell you what. When I started watching more and digging more into this revival stuff, I definitely had to ask the question, is this why? Is this why you need to keep me from my channel, even though it's a small pissant channel with a piss poor attitude? Is this why, YouTube? Susan, I know you're leaving, Susan, but you can answer me first, Susan. Susan, what? Nobody can say the last name. Nope. Remember, we had this discussion. The only way you can say her last name is if you are reptilian and have a forked tongue. That's the only way you can say that name. Right? I can't do it because I can't. Remember, like I said, You had to, one side of that tongue you have to whip. You have to snap it like a whip when you say it. Very important. All this is very important. Oh, man. Anyway, back to this planet. Along with all of the inspiration, along with all of the added spirituality, I have actually ran across a lot of really good music. And I actually believe I have a new favorite song, and that's actually a pretty big deal for me. I am pretty closed right now to new music. I pretty much, I don't want to listen to anything that the Father wouldn't be happy with. I just have no interest in listening to something that the Father would not be happy with. And at the same time, I don't have an ear out for new music. And so some of these songs are probably very well known, very popular, been around for a while, been passed around for a while, but I don't know them. I ran across one that I think takes the top for me. Now it's among some odd contenders like Ozzy Osbourne and Tool. But for this to take that top spot from either Ozzy or Tool is big for me. Very, very, very big for me because I'm very critical of music. I'm not easily satisfied with it. It's one reason I love Tool. Because in my opinion, Tool is like the most perfect mathematical music that could be written. It's perfect. It's all encompassing. It's got everything's there. And at the same time, everything's different from everything you've ever known. And it's, to me, an incredible listening experience. And amazing the depth that they put in their music. Well, I found a song that's the same way, that directly and greatly glorifies the Father. And this is that song. It's called Promises. And I don't know if this is the original. I like this particular version. This exact same version. I love all of the different individuals that sing in this. I like how you can feel how connected they are themselves to spirituality. You can literally feel this song. And it's incredible. So if you haven't heard it, the channel, I guess, is Tribal, Tribl, and Promises is the song. It's absolutely incredible. I cannot come close to expressing how incredible that their music is. I guess we'll get moving on from that, but hey, 20 minutes talking about the Father. Well, okay, 15 after the intro, but I'm good with that. Oh, man. Coffee. And I have to improvise for my coffee right now because we're out of normal coffee filters. What I want to get, we don't have the money to get it yet, but they make this little insert that you can just put in your basket, your coffee basket. It's just a reusable filter. It's just got a really fine mesh filter. Got them on Amazon for $8. We just don't have one yet. And I ran out of regular coffee filters. So what I did is got into the old SHTF supplies because let's not even debate this. Anything involving the neglect of coffee is an SHTF in itself. You don't need anything else. That's equivalent to an EMP just went off. So you got to break out the stash. And so I got into the our little percolator because I've got some. They were expensive suckers too. Believe me, I feel it in my butt every time I use one. Expensive. And they're made specifically for percolators, and it's kind of, well, it's a flat sheet, but you fold it, the way you fold it up, it kind of makes kind of like an envelope for the coffee, for a percolator, because that's the one thing about percolators. If you don't use any type of filter, or if you just use that little stupid flat disc, you're going to have coffee grounds in your coffee. And so that's what this is. It's a more expensive filter, and it allows you to kind of make an envelope to contain the coffee anyway. So I'm using those. I know, horrible story of poverty. I know, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. I've got Jesus. Jesus, I need some coffee filters, please, and amen. Anyway, nah, I'm pretty sure I've got that. I won't call the Father on that one. So anyway, we do have news that's a much different tone than the start of the show, that's for sure. But that's the whole reason we need what I started the show with. So we've got a lot of nonsense going on around the world. We're pissing in as many Cheerios as we can. Russia, North Korea, which has been nothing new, China, and I'm telling you, we're pissing in the Cheerios. We are not being shy about it, that's for sure. And it's only a matter of time. So I'm going to cover, I've got some tabs open from just the stuff that I put out today. And then, of course, we'll do the usual. I've actually got quite a few tabs open for Sunday. I've got 8 tabs open. So we'll go over these and do the headlines and get the heck out of here. Starting out with this. China warns U.S. of consequences if spy balloon row escalates. So yeah, this idiocracy that's going on is continuing to go on, and is absolute idiocracy, because out of the 4 balloons, I believe there was 4 total, right? Or 3 I can't even remember anymore. But only one, the first one, was even from China. In fact, one of the balloons, it's suspected as belonging to a hobby group. What was that, $12 balloon? Yeah, shoot a $400,000 missile at it. Why not? It's crazy. It's crazy. We, and when I say we, I'm not necessarily talking about you and I. I mean, we as in our government, the nation as a whole, look pretty silly at this point. I don't know. We live in a world where people want to walk around with their emotions out front, and that's their number one goal, right? No matter what the situation, no matter what it is, they want to pump that emotion box into everything that they can find and have the more outrageous emotional response, because that's what wins. And it's insanity. It's insanity. Nobody wants to fix the problems. They just want the attention for the emotional aftermath from the problems. It's not about fixing the problems. Nobody wants to fix the problems. Problems are pretty easy to fix, usually. Especially when it involves people. Just simply talk to the people. You can't talk to everybody else about the people. You have to go to those people and talk to those people. And if you go on and on and on without doing that, then you're looking for attention. Period. And that's what our society is doing. And that is why we can't get anywhere. Our government is a representation of its citizenship. If that crap wasn't cool with the citizenship, they wouldn't be able to get away with it in government. That's a fact. And like I've been saying forever, that the very first step to fixing this nation starts in our home. It starts in ourselves. And we have to build it. It's the only way. Because who do you think those people in government come from? Us. We need to be better people. And damn well hold them accountable to be better people. But we need to quit the attention games. Because it's not going to get us anywhere. Just not. It's incredible. How many in this nation are on a crash course? I believe it's going to be in the headlines from one of the past days that I believe U.S. consumer debt is an all-time high. That's what I'm talking about. The problem is okay, you've got U.S. consumer debt at an all-time high. But guess what other things you have at all-time highs? Like inflation. Like unemployment. I'm not talking about the government's number. I'm talking about the reality of unemployment. The numbers the government gives you are based on the unemployment numbers of those individuals that are receiving unemployment benefits, not the amount of people that are actually out of work. Two totally different numbers. So we've got record unemployment, record high debt, and I'm talking consumer debt, not the government debt. And I don't know what these individuals that's got this credit are thinking. I don't know. Anyway, I wound up way over on the financial side of things, and that's not even any of the tabs well, yeah, it is. It is, later on. Anyway, back to spy balloons. This here says a shooting down of a Chinese balloon was nothing but an abuse of force by Washington, senior Chinese diplomat Wang Yi told U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference on Sunday. The U.S. will the U.S. will bear the consequences if it tries to stir up tensions even further in the wake of the incident, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said in a statement describing the exchange. America's own high-altitude balloons illegally flew over China multiple times, it said, adding that Washington is in no position to smear China since the U.S. itself is the number one country in terms of surveillance. The only thing the U.S. achieved by shooting down the balloon was to damage relations between Washington and Beijing, the ministry said, adding that the U.S. needed to demonstrate sincerity and resolve the issue instead of seeking to dramatize it even further. And I honestly think that they're right. I think they're absolutely correct. I think the entire damn thing from the first second was mishandled. Again, people walking around with this emotion box held out in front of them, just itching to bump into something. That's what this is. I am still firmly confident that it was a weather research balloon and nothing more. Very confident in that. The first lie is too many. The first one. And how many have we been told about this incident up till now? How many? And how many different groups said how many different things? You had Red Team talking about how Blue Team was just lying when they talked about it happening before. Wrong, no. It happens all the time. It's common. It's literally no big freaking deal. Nobody ever reacts with stupidity like this. Why was this acted with stupidity? Because, well, again, it's what we allow. It's what we allow. There's no two ways to put it. Hey, you know what? Last I checked, there's like 350, 380 million of us in this country. What is there in government? 535, some number around that? Something like that. I think there's a whole hell of a lot more of us. And I don't give a damn what National Guard they have. I don't give a damn what threats they make. You put 100 million people around D.C., and I guarantee you they'll be ready to listen. A single shot will not have to be fired. I'm not saying they won't fire any. I'm not saying some of us won't get picked off, because I damn well know it'll happen. But do we want change, or do we want to sit here and bullshit each other about wanting change? Because either we stand the hell up or we just sit down and shut up. And I'm not ready to sit down and shut up. I'm done sitting down and shutting up. Plain and simple. I'm telling you, I've got a fire that's been energized in me this weekend. I want to obliterate evil wherever it is. Got a little sidetracked again. Thank you, sir. May I have another? U.S. draws red line for China. So now we act like massive idiots over this balloon. And now we're coming out and giving ultimatums, red lines. Nice. What is this red line, you might ask? Any nation providing lethal support to Moscow in its ongoing conflict with Kiev would cross Washington's red line, the U.S. envoy to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, told CNN on Sunday. Earlier the same day, U.S. State Secretary Antony Blinken directly warned a top Chinese diplomat, Wang Yi, against considering such an option. So let me get this straight. The rules are, because apparently we make the rules somehow for the planet. I don't know, but somehow we became planet president. The rules are multiple nations can funnel money and direct lethal aid to Ukraine. But nobody's allowed to do that for Russia? Oh. Let me know how that works out for you. Unbelievable. And probably the biggest reason that I say unbelievable is not only are we complete dumbasses regarding a balloon that floats over, but we're complete dumbasses for taunting China. Because what do you think China's response is going to be? What do you think I'm going to be telling you about China and what they're going to be doing within the next week? Anybody want to place a bet on that? I can't. Sorry. I wish. I would make the bet if I wasn't trying to please the Father. But I'm pretty sure that's a sure bet. Within a week, you were going to see something come out in the media in line of a direct and notable type of support from China to Russia. You watch. Because we're idiots. And our idiots respond to the Nord Stream sabotage allegations. It's I don't enjoy doing news like this. Believe me, I want to flip that flag upright that's right there. And I want to wave that more than anyone I know. But I'm not gonna lie. I'll flip that flag around and I'll wave it when it's time and not a damn second before. We've got a long way to go. This is insane. On the surface, it's insane. There's not even that many countries that have the capability to commit such an attack. 3, 4, maybe? Everybody knew the moment this happened who was behind it. They didn't keep it a secret that they were going to do it to begin with. Of course, now there's nothing but backpedaling, but that's what politicians do. That's their job. Man, I'm telling you. We need to make something happen with this revival. Now, I don't think that we can change what's going to happen in the written word or anything else, but I don't know. I can't tell you all the Father's plans. Maybe He'll give us more time. I'd damn sure rather try than just throw my hands up in the air and say, well, hell with it, Father. You're not worth me trying to light the fire in other people to change the course. I'm going to go down fighting. There's no honor in anything else. My last moments, I want there to be honor. I want there to be honor. Not just in my own self, but especially in the Father. We don't do something. My goodness. This here article says EU in urgent war mode, says top diplomat. Says European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell has called for more weapons for Ukraine and faster shipment of ammunition. His words come amid Western promises of new armament deliveries for Kiev and growing shortages in his bloc's own stocks. We are in urgent war mode, Borrell said on Sunday during the last day of the Munich Security Conference. He added that the conflict would be over if the shortage of ammunition was not resolved in a matter of weeks. The diplomat bemoaned the depletion of European stockpiles, claiming that the Union forgot about classical wars, only engaged in expeditionary forces and technological blitzkrieg. He announced the EU defense ministers would hold a special meeting on March 8th through the 9th to attempt to resolve this issue. Borrell said that he will also present the idea of using a 3.6 billion euro of the European Peace Facility to jointly buy ammunition for Kiev, using the EU's experience in joint procurements of COVID-19 vaccines. Well, isn't that nice how they got this nice new system set up to where they can, buy vaccines or bombs, whatever the hell they feel up to that day. It's awful nice they've got that system in place. We need to have all of these leaders hiding, cowering in fear to ever be seen by public again. That's what we need to do. We all know it. We all know it. It goes back to that one thing from that Snordster that I like so much. If I play it now, I'll get nailed by YouTube, but I can't remember the name of it, and I wished I could. No, it's not. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's by Snordster, and man, I've played that time and time and time again, and it echoes the very same thing that I've always said. We know how to fix it. We got to get off our asses and do it. Plain and simple. Anyway, shifting gears a little bit here. Ukraine targets Donetsk with massive shelling, says Monitor. Says Kiev's forces have launched a rocket attack on the city of Donetsk, a local organization monitoring Ukrainian strikes on the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republic said on Sunday. In just 2 minutes, a total of 40 projectiles were fired at the Russian city using multiple rocket launchers, the statement claimed. It is so far unclear whether the bombardment resulted in any casualties. Videos allegedly taken at the scene and published on social media by Russian news outlets show some local shops were severely damaged, with smashed windows and holes in the walls. The area around the buildings is littered with debris. According to the monitoring group, the Joint Center for Control and Coordination, Ukrainian attacks earlier in the day also caused power outages at 8 electrical substations throughout the city, leaving some 800 residents without power. The projectile struck an indoor market, municipal authorities in Donetsk said, causing heavy smoke in the area. At least 3 people were injured in the bombardment, the local territorial defense headquarters said. So, as you can imagine, real soon here, the skies are going to be lighting up over Ukraine. This is insanity. I have to question how common people couldn't see this as insanity. You've got Russia, a huge country, huge military, building up stockpiles for decades. Then you got Ukraine. There wasn't even a thought until what, 2014? Well, you know what I mean, though, the separation. So you can't tell me that, in the last 9 years, that the nation of Ukraine, the people of Ukraine, have been able to build up this military and the stockpiles to be able to take on Russia. It makes no sense. It's like the armor that they're sending in. Makes no sense. You really think that's going to make a difference? If they put in the number that we were told, Russia could walk through that in a day. I don't even think they'd be breathing heavy. I'm lost. Because the reality is, what we're being told and what we're being shown is horse shit. It's nonsense. I still think they're working together. I think this whole idea, this conflict, is just the rumors of war that the good book speaks about. Now, don't get me wrong. I think people are dying in Ukraine. There's definitely war going on in Ukraine. But these people in charge, they don't care about us. They'll kill off half of us just to secure their position. They don't care. And there ain't one of them that's different. Because by the time you make it that far in politics, you have to be that corrupt or you wouldn't be there. That is how our political system operates. And until we deal with that, y'all can go cheer your vote and all that, but you're pissing in the wind. I don't like wasting my time, so I'm not going to go vote. When you guys are ready to pick up your torches and your pitchforks, let me know. South Korea and U.S. respond to missile launch by Pyongyang. Like I said, this is definitely ramping up as well. South Korea and the U.S. staged combined air drills on Sunday, a day after North Korea fired a long-range ballistic missile into the sea, the Joint Chiefs of Staff in Seoul have said. As part of the exercise, South Korean F-35A and F-15K fighters and U.S. F-16s escorted American B-1B aircraft entering the South's Air Defense and Identification Zone, the JCS said. It didn't specify how many B-1B bombers were involved. Some 10 aircraft were scrambled as part of the drills, according to the Yonhap news agency. They flew in formation over the Yellow Sea, East China Sea, and the southern part of South Korea. The training this time demonstrated the South Korea-U.S. combined defense capabilities and posture featuring the alliance's overwhelming forces, Seoul said. In other words, stirring up more crap. That's an awesome picture. I wonder if there's a big picture of that. Got to see if there's a big picture of that. Ooh, there is a big picture of that. Me must see big picture of that. Well, it's not that big, but... Oh, really? What a ripoff. What a rip-off. That means I gotta go to the page and get it. That's how that works. Quit it. Or at least speak English. Speak English on your non-English site. Later on. Okay. I just went to picture. Picture for the set. Yay! That's a crappy picture, though. Damn. Let's try that again. There we go. Better copy. Aren't you guys excited I'm showing you how to grab pictures? Yeah, that's the way to get pictures, by the way. Good copies of pictures. That is pretty cool, though. That is pretty cool. My favorite bomber, U.S. bomber, is the B-1B. That thing is incredible. F-35s are a bunch of meh. So, meh. Bah. F-22s are go home, yo. Anyway. Let's see. Next up, gonna talk about food issues. We're down to a couple tabs left, so I need a couple of vapes. Oh, man. All right. UK food banks under record pressure, says a study. You need a study for that, or can you just call up some food banks? The UK's food banks are being overwhelmed by an unprecedented increase in... I know that is what a study is, but I mean, you don't have to make it all official. You don't have to have damn company letterhead. You pick up the phone, you call them and say, how you doing on food? You don't really got to label it a survey. Or a study, I'm sorry. Survey would be, in my opinion, more accurate. But study? It's a study, because we picked up a phone and called a few food banks. Where's my government funding? All right. UK's food banks are being overwhelmed by an unprecedented increase in demand amid double-digit inflation and the cost of living crisis, new research has found. According to the survey published on Sunday by the Independent Food Aid Network, remember that because they're going to be an important part of your daily breakfast. No, I don't. Independent Food Aid Network, or the IFAN. We'll call them IFAN. An institution uniting more than 550 independent food banks. 89% of organizations have seen a rise in the number of people seeking support in December and January as compared to the same period 1 year ago. Moreover, over 80% of food banks reported that many Britons who were asking for help were doing so for the first time in their lifetime. That's an indicator. About 50% of the organizations covered in the survey also said that if demand increased, they would be forced to cut the volume of assistance or to refuse some applicants altogether. See, I'd said something for quite a while now, and we're going to get to see it come true here pretty quickly, I think. And I've often talked about a video that Monograph did, and talks about a word, comfortability. And he talks about why the American people won't stand and put things right, and it has to do with comfortability, and he's absolutely correct in his assessment. I love that video. He did a great job on it. Here's the thing. I have long said that when the average person has to make the choice between food or a roof over their head or fuel to get to work, whatever, just common everyday things, when the average American Joe or Jane when the middle class, or who used to be middle class, right? The folks that had the boat, that had the camper, that had the nice home, right? The one that lost all of it. When those people are the ones that start having a problem putting food on the table, that is when you'll see an actual uprising in this country. We're about to see it. We are about to see it. Just wait. Things are going to get stupid. Stupid. Because all of our money at this point is funny money. Period. Not even close to being accurate. I mean, it's the funniest funny money ever funnied on the planet. And, of course, we all know that's not sustainable. That's not even realistic. But we've got a bunch of people still willing to bullshit each other and let us fight over what scraps are left. It's crazy. Truly crazy. And this is the last tab I have open, and we'll do the headlines from Friday. Global food giant issues grim warning. Nestle. First off, why don't you leave some water for us? That would be nice. Thank you. We'll listen to what they got to say. The world's biggest food corporation, Nestle, has said prices for staple items will continue to grow during 2023, after more than a year of price increases that have forced the ordinary consumer into an ongoing struggle to buy groceries. Now remember, there are a lot of people in the financial know that were telling you the entire time that this inflation was not transitory, that these prices were going to stick around. They weren't going nowhere. And they were right. I knew they were right. But moreover, they're going to continue to rise. And don't be surprised if you see a doubling in prices of common everyday foods. Don't be a bit surprised. I don't know, man. I don't know. People are going to have to be very creative. That's the best way to put it, We eat very cheap. We eat very cheap because we choose to. We choose to. That allows us to be able to put back food for preparedness, right? We could either pig out now and have anything we wanted to eat right now, or we could cut back on what we want, focus on what we need, the sustenance to keep us alive, and put back a little bit of food here and there. That's not going to be the case much longer. In fact, on a lot of things, it's no longer the case now. Coffee is still up, 40%, I would say. For the coffee I get, still up 40%. It's not going to go down. It's going to continue to go up. So, and I used a conservative example because the price of coffee had gone through the roof and came back down and stabilized. The price of coffee right now is stable. It ain't going to go down, I can tell you that. But for the moment, it's stable. The big threats they were scaring us with and all the fear-mongering they were doing over the coffee. Remember that? Over everything. The fear-mongering over everything. Death, diesel exhaust fluid. Oh my God, the world was going to come to an end. Remember that? Yeah, nothing ever happened with any of it, did it? Wonder why I came out railing against all the prepper channels and stuff that were fear-mongering about that. I don't know. But you can bet your butt these prices are going to continue to rise. I don't know how people are going to do it. And I'm telling you, that's going to be the beginnings of where you see people get really nasty in this country. I remind folks, encourage those around you to stock up, to get prepared. That's the other thing that I don't understand about this prepper mindset, is that we think that we're going to be able to stock all this stuff up and then put ourselves in a little cocoon, and nobody's going to be able to open the cocoon. That's stupidity. However, if you can get to people and reach people in enough time so that they can put back stuff as well, so that they don't have to worry about how they're going to feed their families when things get sticky, then you can work together with those people to help secure both of your places. You see how that works? Or otherwise, we could just, we don't tell nobody about preparedness because they'll be on your doorstep. That's the most idiotic damn thing I've ever heard. Yeah, they would be. That's why you get out there and you promote the hell out of it so that there's enough people that listen, that have enough common sense to get involved and to be able to provide for their own. I don't get a lot of the mindsets, I'm going to be honest, of the prepper community. I don't. I don't, because it's based, I don't know what the hell it's based on. Not based on history, not based on fact. It's like it's almost as if it's based on commercial desires. I mean, down to the core. And I guess it could be. I don't know. But real security is going to be working together with those around you. And being able to have enough people to get production back going after an event. But you can't do that if you're hiding in your basement, guarding your Chef Boyardee from the angry hordes outside. It's literally crazy. It really is. All you have to do, there's plenty of information out there. Different nations going through different events, including our own nation going through different events. You can read up about the Depression. That'll help you understand a little bit about what we're facing. It's not this prepper fantasy where everybody dons, their bulletproof vest, grabs their AR-15. It doesn't go like that. There's no defining night and day difference of, today you're an SHTF. Make sure you wear your armor-plated vest. It doesn't happen like that. Never has. Never will. It's prepper fantasy bullshit from people that sit in front of a TV too much. That's the honest truth. The reality of the real SHTF is much slower, much more grueling. And it's not a light switch. So many more people actually grow more and more accustomed to the new way of things. You got something to add? All right, then. Her ear was flipped up. I flipped her ear down. She looked at me like she was going to come over here and show me what the hell's up. I asked her if she had something to say, and she decided otherwise. Now she's glaring at me again. Oh, I love that dog. Never in a million years would I ever have dreamed of having a dog that's as smart as that thing. And it's absolutely just as ornery as what I am. Okay, let's read these and get the heck out of here. U.S. Hobby Club reports missing balloon after UFO shoot-downs. Let's see if I can add that up. Hobby Club, $12 balloon, F-22, $400,000 AIM-9. Yeah. It's almost like, using a really expensive bunker buster type of bomb to bomb a yurt in the desert. You know what I mean? But we do that too, We do that too. Let's see. Russian nuclear power exports booming. EU and UK demand for LNG skyrockets, says Shell. Seymour Hersh dubs Nord Stream sabotage dumbest U.S. act in years. I don't know, man. There's been a lot of dumb stuff. I mean, that's dumb. But to say that's the most dumb... Did you hear about who got elected as president in the United States? I'm pretty sure that even tops the dumbness of what we did with Nord Stream. Yeah. Well, we've got a whole lot of things, dumb things, that will contend with Nord Stream. Almost daily things. Russia reacts to U.S. support for strikes on Crimea. Pakistan responds to Ukraine conflict claim. Poll reveals German attitudes to warplanes for Ukraine. British energy producer announces mammoth profits. Go figure, huh? Oh, but we don't have no choice. We don't have no choice but to freeze people. No choice. Die Hard star diagnosed with untreatable dementia. I don't know why I included that. Turkish quakes may be rehearsal for big one in Istanbul, says scientists. Biden sets out views on prospects of Cold War with China. Western sanctions helped Russia find new oil markets, says the IEA. Falling tail issue grounds entire fleet of U.S. Air Force tankers. Nah, there's no problem there. No. Oh, man. EU gas stocks shrink, says data. Patriotic civilians must leave key embattled cities, says top Ukrainian official. Zuckerberg unveils new Instagram feature. Moscow warns EU over seized assets. Russia and Africa to benefit from direct trade, says economist to RT. EU member approves giving drunk drivers cars to Ukraine. So I guess when they seize a vehicle because of the drunk driver, I guess they're going to give those vehicles to Ukraine. Torches and pitchforks, they're not that expensive, folks. And while you're at the hardware store, buy plenty of rope. We're going to need that too. All right? Shovels, pitchforks, torches, and rope. Hell, get some duct tape too. Why not? Maybe some Gorilla Glue. We could get creative with the Gorilla Glue. Get some of that too. Let's see. Spain considers drastic move to rein in food prices. Let's see. Natural gas will be key global resource for years to come, says Putin. U.S. governor trolled with Zelensky image. Ukraine peace petition backed by nearly 500,000 Germans. Police told to keep record of conspiracy theorists and communists. Now, I'm not kidding you. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Australia's Queensland is where they're doing this. I mean, they're actually doing it everywhere. All of them are doing it right now. But you're going to see more. Much, much more of that. U.S. credit card debt hits historic high. That's what I was talking about. Let's see. Bellingcat director banned from BAFTA awards. BAFTA. That's okay. I wouldn't want to go to BAFTA awards anyway. It doesn't sound very good. Somebody said, congratulations, you BAFTA. I just don't think that they're giving me a compliment. Let's see. Taliban outlaws contraception, says media. No rubber for you. Germany needs military draft, says reservist leader. You could just outlaw contraception and grow your own new military. U.S. auditors headed to Ukraine, says Wall Street Journal. I hope they're taking a pen and a notebook. North Korea warns of unprecedented action. Yeah, talked about that a couple of times already. $12 balloon, $400,000 missile. Seems like a fair trade. Oh, my goodness. Western nation may offer assisted suicide to children. Canada. I mean, this is where we're at, folks. This is literally where we're at. Macron opposes regime change in Russia. Canada ends probe into trucker emergency, and of course they found no wrongdoing. I know you're shocked by that, but when the government investigated itself, they found absolutely no ruling, and they were absolutely 100% justified to do all of those things they did. I'm telling you, way more of us than there are of them. We just have to make up our mind that we actually want to get off our asses and do something about it. U.S. Senator hospitalized for depression. I hope you get better, man, Mr. Fetterman. Fetterman. Dude, no. Plain and simple. No. Islamist attack on police station leaves 7 dead. U.S. social justice warrior outed as race imposter, says media. What's new? France makes claim to Russian poet. Is he okay with that? Children illegally sent to U.S. slaughterhouses. They're talking about like meat packing plants, so you know. Because when I read that headline on Friday, I was like, wait, what? No, they're talking about meat packing plants. They're not slaughtering the kids. At least not in this part of the story. That might come later, I don't know. Meat does got to come from somewhere, but hey. Let's see. Ukrainian troops finished crash course on U.S. tank killers. Yeah. Let's see how well those do. Put them out there on the battlefield. Let's watch them go poof, 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 poof. And then we'll send them a bunch more crop. FBI admits hack of its own network. Really? So, I mean, are you just... I mean... Is this like the company-wide memo? You're asking them to step forward? Because it's probably a member of the FBI that hacked you. Anyway, it's like anonymous. Pretty much 90% of the time, if you see the name anonymous tagged to something, it's FBI and it's not anonymous. But let's see. Pentagon sends its China point man to Taiwan, says media. And I'm to yesterday's news, so coffee time. Yeah, I think when I conceded, I would have had to say, Indeed. You're the better man, Fetterman. I would have had to have said that. I'd have had to totally said that. But of course, the true reality of it all, I'd have been long canceled before that would ever got to be an opportunity. All right, Scholes issues tank plea. IKEA parent company to offload all Russian property, says media. French inflation edges higher. Betting on Ukraine victory was suicidal, says Seymour Hersh. U.S. calls off search for downed UFOs, says New York Times. I'm glad we don't have the threat of those hobby balloons anymore. I couldn't sleep. India's imports from Russia soar 400%, says media. Russians shift to used cars as prices on new models soar. You know the subject that I didn't even bring up tonight, that I intended to bring up tonight in the beginning of the show? I'm just now remembering near the end of the show, I was going to talk a little bit about Ohio. But there's really not a lot to say. Now, I haven't taken the time to look up the entire list of chemicals that were involved in that incident, but I have looked up a few of them. And the few that I have looked at were supposedly the real nasty ones, right? And the half-life of them is so incredibly short. And you've got gobs of people that have been focused on this incident now for over a week. And I don't think that there's even a single chemical amongst all of them that even remains to be a threat. But But nobody knows about half-life. But yet all these people are talking about it, but they have no idea. No idea. Not any clue. And it's mind-blowing. My question is, people were talking about how the balloon stuff was a distraction from the Ohio stuff. And I was like, nah. No, there's something else. And I'm telling you, there's something else. They're keeping their target demographic of people that they need. That would be the people that's paying attention to that kind of stuff. They need them out chasing their own tails. And so that's what they're doing. They're just letting them chase their own tails with this Ohio thing. Was it an issue? Oh, hell yeah, it was an issue. Was it dangerous? Oh, hell yeah, it was dangerous. Were animals killed? Absolutely. Will people experience medical trouble as a result of the incident? Probably very likely. I'd say that's a guarantee. Do those chemicals still remain a threat at this moment? Not the ones I looked up. In fact, the worst of those that I looked up, 3 days. 3 days. In the worst case scenario. 3 days. I don't know. Remember, you're not supposed to listen to people like me. I don't know why. You're just not supposed to, though. I don't have an approved agenda. Let's see. Betting on Ukraine victory was suicide, says Seymour Hersh. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. U.S. calls off... Oh, actually, I read these. Dang it. India's imports from Russia soar 400%, says media. Russian ship to used cars as prices on new models soar. A White House to hold secret talks with Taiwan officials, says Financial Times. European electricity giant posts record losses. Now, this is one that's posting losses. Now, this is going to be a middleman that was probably trying to do a good job providing power for affordable prices to individuals. They're the ones that are going to be recording the losses. But in my opinion, what they were doing is they were trying to run a lot of these energy companies out of business so they could further consolidate the control of energy. I am convinced that is the reality of what was going on. Let's see. Stop dangerous acts, China tells NATO. Pyongyang fires missile ahead of U.S. South Korea military drills. Again, this is yesterday's news. Stoltenberg sets condition for Kiev to join NATO. India slams meddling by George Soros. West forced to soften anti-Russian UN resolution, says Moscow. More countries join Russia's SWIFT alternative, says central bank. Russia explains request to shut down Jewish NGO. EU state ends golden visa era. An anti-war rally announced in Washington. Survivors rescued 12 days after Turkey earthquake. That's amazing. China to present its Ukraine peace proposal. EU indirectly at war with Russia, says Orban. Israeli delegation removed from African summit. Israeli strike hits central Damascus, says state media. China says balloon hysteria shows U.S. weakness. Yeah. Jimmy Carter rejects treatment to spend last days in peace. Let's see. Oh, and we are to today's news. Another sip of coffee. In fact, that would have been the rest of it. Good coffee. I'm pretty sure I told you about my coffee filter woes earlier. And this may sound crazy, but I'm telling you, I think the coffee tastes better with those filters. Yeah, there's much more flavor to it. There's added flavor to it, it seems. And I have a suspicion. I think it's because those filters let more of the oils of the coffee into the finished product. Because that's the one thing about percolator coffee, is that when you have percolator coffee, there's more like oils, natural oils from the coffee beans that are retained in the liquid. And it's got a much different taste, and you can even tell kind of some type of an oily kind of, you can tell, and it's a much different taste. If you've never had coffee out of a percolator, you've got to try it sometime. I want to try it out of a French press. In fact, I've had a French press on the Amazon wish list for I don't know. I got to have the extra $30 to do it. But I want to try one, because that would be an incredible way to make coffee. And if it's got that oil in it, if using the French press does that got that same effect on coffee, I'll go to using a French press from now on, without a doubt. Because, man, coffee from a percolator is so much better. Anyway, continuing on. Let's see. Macron wants Russia defeated but not crushed. U.S. no longer attracts world's rich, says a study. Half of Russians no longer need Western brands, says a survey. West lacks operational tanks for Kiev, says UK Defense Secretary. Visitor breaks $42,000 balloon dog sculpture at an art fair. Talk about an oops. I mean, yikes. I'm pretty sure Sorry's not going to cover the cost of that. Man, you know what? That's not going to happen to me, because I ain't going to even go around that stuff. I say that. I did do pest control, in which one of my accounts was an art gallery. And so, I didn't break anything, though. I didn't touch anything either. Didn't even get near anything. I would walk around once in a while, kind of check stuff out. Once in a while, they actually had some really cool stuff there. So, my art days. No, I was the pest control guy. I was there spraying for bugs. Only reason I've ever been to an art gallery in my life. Spraying for bugs. All right. Let's see. I was there once a month. Hungary reveals cost of anti-Russia sanctions. Chinese tourists change travel destinations. Biden medical check a cover-up, says ex-White House doctor. Good job, Sherlock. Good job. Global food... I covered that one. Kremlin responds to Crimea claim by U.S. aggressive hawk. U.S. trying to demonize Russia, says Moscow. What was your first clue? Ukraine targets to NATO... I covered that one. Let's see. I don't know if I did that one or not. South Korea and U.S. respond to missile launch by Pyongyang. I know I did one about Pyongyang. UK food... I did cover that one. Shakespeare flagged as far-right literature in the UK, says media. Bodies of 18 migrants found abandoned in truck. Mexico cutting foreigners off from its white gold. Officials reflect on hardships of staying in Zelensky's bunker. I imagine that is hard. EU is in urgent. Oh, cover that one. And did a video on that. Let's see. Taliban reveals plans for abandoned U.S. military bases. Well, you might as well. We ain't using them. We left the lights on for you. Ukraine makes requests to Spotify. Chechen leader wants own private military company. Well, hell, I do too. Let's see. Former presidential candidates rally against U.S. war machine and propaganda machine. And Estonian PM wants to rewire Russian brains. There's nothing wrong with that logic at all. No, I'm sure there's all kinds of shock therapy treatments and all kinds. What about the one movie where they had the thing that held the guy's eyes open and forced him to watch what was on the screen? That was 1984, I think. Anyway, yeah, do all that. I'm kidding. We have to stop allowing it. Plain and simple. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Been a hell of a Sunday show. Been kind of actually a fun one. I don't know why. Just been entertaining for myself. Anyway, I am out of here. I appreciate y'all coming. God willing, we'll be back up here on the backup channel again because the damn union, the strike, I don't know. They're working out contract proposals. I don't know. I'm not in the loop. But we'll be back here on the backup channel. And I hope to see you then. So as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.